What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. We have done a lot of conversations about the state of the team, right? What's going on with Tua, what's going on with Coach McDaniel, what's going on with Chris Greer. A lot of that kind of stuff has been very front facing. What we don't know is what really happens behind the scenes a lot because most teams don't disclose that, minus Tua telling everybody they're not coming to meetings, which is, again, a big issue. But every team's foundation at a certain point is the coach and quarterback. That's why when Tua came out and said what he said, and Coach McDaniel immediately jumped to his defense. Like in the immediate aftermath, oh no, you guys got Tua wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then he actually heard what he said and had to come back and say, him and I had to talk. That wasn't the right thing to say because reflexively, coaches and quarterbacks should be on the same page. When they're not, one of y'all is not going to be playing, i.e., the Jets. When you see, we got to figure some things out with Justin, guess what? He's not going to be quarterback there long because if the coach is talking about you publicly, you're not going to be playing. But part of a coach's job is to guide the quarterback. That was Coach McDaniel's biggest tenet when he came to the team. He called Tua. He said, "You're my guy. I'm putting my arms around you. I got you. We're going to get the best out of you." That's why we brought him in. So obviously he's been in Tua's corner. He's been his biggest cheerleader. He built the whole offense to make Tua better. But Tua hasn't always returned to favor with his play, obviously. And when he doesn't return to favor with his play, who's holding him accountable? I don't believe it's the ownership. I think they kind of stay hands off. It's got to be the coach. And I don't know how often him and Tua have these conversations about, hey, here's where you can improve. Because even when he talks publicly, it's like, yeah, some missed opportunities, but we'll make it work. But it's never particularly critical, and it's not super specific. Apparently, recently, they have been having more of those conversations because, honestly, things are at a tipping point and have been for a couple of weeks. Here's what Tua had to say. He said about his relationship and conversations with Coach McDaniel, you got to have that in a relationship. It can't always be, here's your flowers, here's roses. Hey, man, you had a bad game? It's all right, buddy. You got to come to those tough conversations. And I've had those tough conversations with him this week. I think that's good. I think that's honest. That's the thing that has bothered me about some of the discourse around the team from the coaching and upper management about this. Oh, we're going to just keep the same status quo. It's like, but do you not think that things are going poorly? Because I understand trying to keep the media off of you. I understand that part. But the reason why assistant coach gets fired is because, hey, something has to change. You have a players only meeting because things have to change. You can't just keep missing assignments. You can't keep not doing your job. We got to talk about it. Who's not who's not bought in, right? That's one of the biggest things guys say. Hey, if you're not bought into this team, that's cool, but you can't come back in the locker room because you're not locked in right now. Hey, is this offense too complicated for you? One of the biggest things they do with rookie quarterbacks is they make the playbook a lot smaller, generally. Hey, let's keep this tight. That's why a tight end in the running game is the biggest thing. Tight ends basically run in the middle of the field. Hey, where's your tight end? Big guy in the middle. Hit him. Hey, where's your running back? Right behind me. Give him the ball. Or swing it to him. Let's keep it tight. It's those complex over routes and deep third passes. That's like, oh, can I throw that pass in between the safety and the corner where a lot of rookies don't want to do that. And then as they get better, you expand the offensive playbook because that's how it's done. But, hey, if you're not getting the offense, what plays aren't working for you? Because we keep running this play and you keep missing it. We need to figure out what's going on. This offense obviously was built on middle passing because Tua is shorter and he throws better in a straight line. That isn't working anymore. What do we need to do that's different? You got to have these conversations. Tua, what are you seeing on the field? Because you keep throwing the same pick. Is it that maybe you're just too short to see the cover? Is this a too short thing? Do we need to even get you on the run? I honestly would like to see Tua throwing more on the run. Just move the pocket initially. Every offensive lineman kind of blocks down, so you kind of turn and get your guy inside. Let Tua roll to his left. And then if he wants to throw to the outside, you can have a drag route on the other side of the line. Drop it off, catch it, turn up field. Yes, you're shortening the field by, half because he's running this way and he can't throw across his body. What he's not doing, sitting in the pocket getting hit. And either he completes the pass, does a short 2-3 yard scramble, or throws it away. Which honestly, throwing it away, better than a pick. As long as he's sitting in the pocket and we're not blocking, it's either that first route is open or a disaster is about to happen, generally. I'd like things like that. What can we do to make things better? Because what you're doing is not living up to your end of the bargain. You're making mistakes that we can't afford because we're not that good of a team. What do we need to do? And I think those come to Jesus type moments are big. And I hope they have more of them. And even on the coaching side, Tua can say, "Coach, hey, coach, the play call's too long. It's taking us 24 seconds to call a play. We're running to the huddle, and then we're getting false starts, or we're getting delay of games. You're doing too much." Get to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this. Again, the season is, we know what the season is doing right now, but I like that they're still trying to get better. So we'll give them credit for that. Now, y'all know in the offseason, I was the biggest Zach Sieler advocate for getting his money. I was gassing him up. I compared him to the guys who make more than him. There are like 10 guys who are making over 20 million, and he was making like 10 million. And I said, guys, these people aren't twice as good as he is. Period. Honestly, I don't think some of them are even better than he is, but they're certainly not twice as good as he is. Pay him his money. And Zach, he kind of did a hold in. Like, he was always at practice, but he was like, I don't want to talk about contracts, but y'all know I would like more money, but I'll still be here, right? Zach was doing his part. He wasn't a distraction. We love everything about that. So far, let's be honest, Zach has not lived up to the money. He hasn't. I've said multiple times this year, hey, did Zach play today? Because I did not see him. And I was being tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, I know he played. But also, you can't be a $20 million defensive lineman and we don't see you. You can't be that non-impactful. Consistently. One game, yeah, you get washed out. You're going against like Detroit. Their O-line is tremendous and you don't get pressure. No problem. We understand that. That's what they do. But it can't be week in and week out. I'm like, is he even on the field right now? And some of that is, maybe he's just not having a good year. Some guys, it could be an injury that you don't disclose, and maybe you're playing a little hesitant. Maybe you got an offseason surgery we don't know about, some kind of cleanup thing. We find out in the offseason, I was playing with a herniated disc all year. I'm like, why didn't you tell anybody? I didn't want to look soft, or I didn't want to give my opponent ammunition. That happens sometimes. But in our case, it may be more personnel outside of Zach. At least that's what Coach Weaver believes, right? Here's what he had to say about it. I think a lot of this is the partnership and cohesion with the guy he's playing next to. We're kind of in and out of putting outside linebackers in there, bigs in there. When you think about a lot of the success he's had, it's been with Christian Wilkins, a guy he could look at and know what you want to do. Calais Campbell has played at 45 years old. There isn't a thing he hasn't seen. It was easy for them to form that connection. I think that's fair. I think Christian Wilkins is really good. And I did an episode about a month ago about what we consider bringing him back. Obviously, the league is kind of like, because he's got some allegations on top of him, and he's hurt. So you can't be a locker room malcontent on some level and also not eligible to play. What are we doing? But once this year is over, because no one's really picked him up. I mean, he's eligible to be scooped at any time. I think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to bring him back. He's coming off injury. His price would definitely go down. I think Miami is one of the few places he existed in without there being a lot of nonsense around it. But he's playing next to, Jordan. He's playing next to Kenneth. He's playing next to Benito. And these are younger guys he hasn't played with. And also, those guys are in and out. A couple of rookies. I understand if maybe like he's expecting them to, come inside or take on two blockers and they don't have that bond. And it's obvious because we're not getting really any production from our interior defensive line. It isn't just Zach's not playing well, but everybody else is playing well. It seems like they're not on the same page in general. Our pass rushers outside of Chubb have also not been great. But Chubb should be awesome because Chubb has been there. Jalen's been there. Chubb has been there for a year. Their struggles are a different conversation, but interiorly, I don't think it's a word. On the interior, they're not on the same page about what they're doing. And I don't know if that's a lack of rep stance, because Kenneth Grant has basically been available since he got drafted. He didn't hold out for his contract. Any injury he had has been minor, like, he missed a practice or two. He hasn't been out for an extended period of time, which means he's been there the whole time. He got the playbook early. He's been in there. We've given him all the reps in the world. We expected you to step in, start, and be good. That's the expectation. And that hasn't really happened yet. I don't know when that's going to turn around, because I'm guessing part of this is they want Zach to help mold Kenneth, but he also needs Kenneth to just play better. Like, hey, I'm trying to mold you, but also you got to just do some stuff on your own. And I can show you, hey, technique-wise, you're too tall. Like, let me get up under those pads and those little, like, intricate things you do as a D lineman. And it just, at this point, it's not working, is what's happening. And I don't believe Zach is a significantly worse player. I do think his performance, though, has been significantly worse. Dolphins, got to talk about injuries. It always happens, right? We have injury reports every week. And this one's about Jalen Waddle, which I think this is a two-pronged conversation. One, he's out, well, he was limited in practice today with hamstrings injury, meaning both of his hamstrings are hurt. Kind of crazy. I don't know what he's been doing. Obviously, he's been playing football, but usually you don't have both hamstrings hurt at the same time, but he does. And if you've ever sprinted or if you played a sport, you know can't really do those well if you got hamstring issues. I'm concerned about this. One, he's our number one receiver now, so he gets all the best corners, he gets the most attention, so he really can't like go under the radar like you could sometimes with Tyreek, where Tyreek is such a all-encompassing player that you can kind of play off of it or just run short routes. He runs the deep routes. We need Waddle to run the whole tree now. If he can't run the tree successfully, he's already had a shoulder injury this year. Hamstrings injury is how bad are hamstrings? Are they like slightly strained? Do you just feel like they're tight? Do you feel like you can open up and sprint? Because if Jalen Waddle can't open up and sprint like he wants to, he shouldn't be on the field. He's not a good enough receiver outside of his speed to be on the field. He's not like A.J. Brown, who's obviously fast, but just also giant, where, hey, just give me a couple jump balls. I can muscle a couple guys. Like Jalen Waddle's game is, let me get open quick and hit me with a pass. If he can't get open quick, he can't run, he shouldn't be on the field. The second part is, we have said that we aren't going to trade Jalen Waddle. We've said that, not interested in trading, whatever. Teams say that all the time to drive prices up, to, keep the player at bay so they're not tripping about what's going on. If there's a possibility that he will still get traded, I'm saying possibility, even if it's small, like 10%, whatever, we don't want him to do something to his hamstring. Like, oh, he pulled his hamstring and now he's not as tradable. I would not be surprised if he doesn't play Sunday. I hope he does, because we're playing Atlanta, and I think Atlanta scores. Their defense, A.J. Terrell is a decent corner. I don't think he's like top 5. He may be borderline top 10, 12-ish, but I would take Jalen over him, like in a one-on-one fade. But if Jalen is not right, trade deadline's in 12 days? Like it's tight enough that I can see the team being like, let's exercise some extra caution to make sure you don't get hurt. So even if we were maybe possibly going to trade you, we don't ruin the value. I think he's going to want to give it a go. I think he believes that the season's not over yet and we can still kind of win some stuff. But I'm keeping my eye on how he does in practice on Friday, because if he's limited again, then I could see him not playing, which obviously is not good for the offense, because we do not have anyone who can replace his productivity unless you want to throw Devon Achane the ball 40 times in a game. But keep your eye on it. This may be a Jalen Wright kind of situation where I think there may be trade attached to physical wellness. I think there's more things at play. That's all I'm going to say. I saw a report today that Tyreek Hill is contemplating retirement. Let me tell you right now, Tyreek's not retiring. All right? At least not right now. I would stop doing this show if Tyreek after this offseason is like, I'm done playing. That's how confident I am about it. Also, don't hold me to that, because I like doing this. But I think it's not even, because Tyreek can obviously still play football. If you know, Tyreek has a lot of bills outside of football. A lot. And they're going to extend for the next 14, 18 years. And I don't think those bills are going to stop coming anytime soon. If you know, you know. So you can say, oh, I'm done, my body's broken down. But when you know the minimum Tyreek will get next year from a team is $20 million. If he just comes back for a 1-year, $20 million deal, maybe incentives can get up to 25, maybe even up to 30 if you get like a Pro Bowl, 12 touchdowns, whatever. Somebody will give Tyreek a 1-year, $20 million deal plus 20 guaranteed. You can't afford, quite literally, to give up $20 million with the amount of bills you're going to pay going forward. I don't know if Tyreek's going to be like on a podcast or work in the media when his career is over. I hope he doesn't go the Antonio Brown route, which has been chaotic. But Tyreek's making the most money he's going to make right now. And his bills are only going to get bigger going forward, because Tyreek is a reckless person. And he has not shown any capacity to not be. So if I think his bills are going to explode over the years, he needs to have a giant nest egg, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And he can still play, right? The game aspect of it is he the number 1 rated player in the league anymore? No. He's not the number 1 receiver. He's not even the top 5 receiver anymore. But he's still a game breaker. We're assuming he comes back healthy. There are a lot of teams who don't have great receivers who can use him for a year, maybe 2. where I don't think he would destroy the locker room. Tyreek's not really a locker room destroyer. I think that's the media does a weird thing with receivers who like talk a lot and like animated and passionate that you're killing the team. No, receivers are just when they're not getting the ball, they're either blocking or just running routes up and down the field all the time. And it's like, bro, I've run 13 routes. You haven't thrown me the ball in 2 quarters. Like I get the idea of can you give me something, give me a hitch. Like let me touch the ball. Like give me something to like want to do all this stuff. I understand that part of it. It's a dependent position, so I never think of it like he's an ingrate. It's like you didn't sign me 30 million a year to just run down the field and block people. I assume you want to get the ball in my hands. Throw me the ball. But I do not believe he's going to retire after this offseason. Period. I do not think he's going to go back to the Dolphins. I'll tell you that. But he's not retiring. This is a clickbait story. Know that. I only brought it up because this clickbaity. Jeez. I couldn't even say it. I'm so averse to clickbait that I don't even like saying the term. He's not going to retire. At least not now. I think Tyreek has 2 more years in him of like good money. I do think he will retire before he's on like his Odell run. Y'all know I'm a big Odell fan. I was super happy when we got him. But Odell basically after the Rams has not been Odell. His body just broken down too much. Now he's suspended. We wish you the best. But Odell's going to maybe come back sometime this year, possibly not. Try to hold out a comeback next year. Maybe someone takes a flyer on him. His career is over. His impactfulness is done. I don't think Tyreek will still play if he still can't be a good player. And with great moments. Maybe he has a game where he has 200 yards. He's like, I still got it. I'm still a cheetah. And he has a couple games where he has like 40 yards. Like, there will be a couple ebbs and flows. I do not think he will be, Jerry Rice with the Seahawks or like he's not going to play that long. I think he will stop. He's 31 going to 32. I think he'll be done by the time he's 35 because he can still play. Also, can't pass that money up. Again, a lot of bills coming up. If you know, you know. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.